Hello Grace Primary School, Year 6, Shackleton, Darwin and Patuta. It is me, Mr. L-E-W to the I-S, virus. Today's lesson is on similes and metaphors, and I love similes and metaphors. That's the place where I live. Sometimes it's hard, I said it in the PowerPoint, to pinpoint your exact feelings or emotion on a topic or the scenario. It's hard to explain it vividly. So by comparing to something else, it makes it more relatable and people can understand it easier. So it's an important skill to know. Throughout this PowerPoint, I'll be explaining what you should know, the basics of how to use it and why you use it, and the different ways you can use it too. It's a quite important technique, and once you get the hang of it, it becomes very useful in life. You can pause or rewind the video at any moment. There's no rush. Send your work to the Year 6 email, and I hope the PowerPoint makes sense. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're safe at home. I hope you're all staying close to your families and you're well. And peace and love. The date is Thursday, the 21st of May 2020. The topic is journalistic writing, and the LI is to understand the difference between metaphors and similes. I repeat, the LI is to understand the difference between metaphors and similes. You can pause or rewind the video at any moment, there is no rush. I repeat, you can pause and rewind the video at any moment, there is no rush. Why you need to know this? Similes and metaphors are descriptive techniques. They add an extra level of detail to everything. Without these devices, a lot of forms of literature will lose its attraction. They make stories, plays, poetry, and etc. more exciting and engaging to the reader. Sometimes it's hard to pinpoint our exact feelings or describe a scenario. By comparing it or likening it to other situations and feelings, it makes all forms of writing accessible, as well as entertaining and informative as well. That's the main purpose of writing: inform or to entertain. Some of the greatest stories ever told include some of the most famous vivid similes and metaphors. By using these techniques, they will up-level your work. A simile: a comparison between two things using the words like or as. At 3 o'clock, the children left the school like a swarm of bees. The children fled from the school as quickly as mice being chased by a cat. Okay, so the imagery is that you could tell that if I just said at 3 o'clock the children left school, it's boring. Like a swarm of bees is comparing it, you get that image in your head, so you think, oh, okay, that's how they're running off. And also, the children fled from school as quickly as mice being chased by a cat. Again, by just including the first part of the sentence, it's not entertaining, but adding a comparison, you relate to it more. Metaphor: when one thing is said to be something that it is not. It was hot and I was so thirsty, my mouth was desert. A dragon's roar came from the front of the classroom. Where is your homework? So the first one, it was hot, I was thirsty, my mouth was a desert. Your mouth isn't actually a desert, but by saying it is a desert, it shows the likeness of what you're going through, and people go, oh, okay, they understand it easier. It's relatable. The dragon's roar came from the front of the classroom. You can imagine who that is. So if I was to put teacher there instead, it wouldn't make as much sense. It would make sense, but it wouldn't be as descriptive. It wouldn't be as engaging. It wouldn't catch my attention. But by saying a dragon's roar, then okay, you know what he or she's like. They're loud, they're fearsome, and fiery. I would like you now to think of a simile that can describe rain. Okay, be as creative as you can be, but think of a simile that can describe rain. And then think of a metaphor to describe rain in the same task. Simile: like a small grey coffee pot sits the squirrel. Okay? The river ran through the valley like a silver snake. So you can see the comparisons and how it works to up-level your work and make it more vivid. I want you to complete the following: as green as, you could pick, as dead as fat as a, as thin as a, as silent as cool as. In your own words, explain why do we use similes. Okay, I would like you to complete that task. Here's to help you. Rapunzel's hair is made from golden straw. It's not actually made from golden straw. I only think teddy bears and scarecrows have golden straw. But by saying Rapunzel's hair shows how magnificent her hair is. And Rapunzel was a classic fairy tale too. The classroom was a zoo, something that's very relatable to everyone. We're not saying the classroom is an actual zoo, but by saying it is a zoo, it shows how wild and noisy it is, which it usually is in Shackleton, not mentioning no names. A metaphor. Turn similes into metaphors. He eats like a pig becomes he is a pig. My teacher is as mean as an ogre becomes my teacher is an ogre. So you can see how easy it is to transform similes into metaphors. I would like you now to transform these into their counterparts. He's cold as ice becomes, what would that become? She's as sweet as an angel becomes. So if you transform that, what will that become? The sun is as round and as yellow as a beach ball. Again, change it to its counterpart, either simile or metaphor, it's up to you. Well, I say it's a metaphor. Extension. Write your own metaphor for one of the following, moon or stars. This is just your practice to get your creative juices flowing. Then I would like you to read this poem, The Sea. I'll read it to you. The sea is a hungry dog, giant and grey. He rolls on the beach all day, with clashing teeth and shaggy jaws. Hour upon hour he gnaws the rumbling, tumbling stones, and bones, bones, bones. The giant sea dog moans, licking his greasy paws. And when the night wind roars and the moon rocks in a stormy cloud, he bounds to his feet and snuffs, shaking his wet sides over the cliffs and howls and hollows long and loud. But on quiet days in May and June, when even the grasses on the dune play no more their reedy tune, with his head between his paws, he lies on the shandy shores, so quiet he scarcely snores. So I would like you to now complete this comprehension task, read the perfect poem carefully, and answer the following questions in full sentences. The whole poem is a metaphor. What two things are being identified? Giant and grey, what two qualities of the sea is James Reed highlighting? What are some of the qualities the sea dog and a dog have in common? Can you suggest why the poet writes bones 4 times on the line? Shaking his wet sides over the cliff, what is the sea doing? And howls and hollows, long and loud, what aspect of the sea is the poet describing? With his head between his paws, what does his dog picture tell us about the sea? In the last 2 lines of the poet uses quite a number of S sounds. What picture of the sea does the sound give you? So you've got to read the poem carefully and answer the questions. Poetry is up to interpretation, so the answers can be quite wide-ranging. As long as you've got a good reason to back up your point, it's acceptable. Almost there. Copy down the following sentences in your book and write down them if they are similes or metaphors. Juliet is the sun. Tracy felt as sick as a parrot. The traffic is murder. She ran like the wind. Your beauty shines like the sun. James was as cool as a cucumber. His feet were stumps of black coal. I've been working like a dog. My bed is as warm as toast. Her paper skin crumpled as she smiled. Kitty is the apple of her father's eye. The honey drips like liquid gold from the jar. So we're going to write whether you think it's a simile or metaphor next to it. Similar is a simile, and metaphor is the same. And then your final task, and your final one, match these poetic terms to their correct definition. So I want you to read the table and match up the terms: alliteration, sibilance, metaphor, imagery, onomatopoeia, simile, personification, and repetition. Match it up to the correct definition. And as a plenary, or for just for fun, I would like you to create some of your own sentences, metaphors, and similes, perhaps a paragraph, something creative, imaginative, nothing too outrageous or too wild, but something sensible, but still creative. And the aim, again, is also to entertain. You can inform, but to entertain the reader. So how will you draw your readers in? How will you engage them? How will you catch their eye? It's up to you how you formulate and create them. But through this PowerPoint, you should know the structure and how to practice the techniques. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. We look forward to seeing your work. Don't forget to send it to Year 6 email and take pictures of your work and send them to. Rewards are up for grabs: rubies, sapphires, emeralds, the whole shebang. So we have a lot of incentive there. And we look forward to reading your work. Peace and love.